And welcome back to Otaku News Live for the week ending April 30th, 2011. I'm a bit ahead of myself there because it's been a weird news week, and we're going to be talking about lots of odd news this week. And I have with me via Skype, first off, Brad Barker. How you doing, Brad?
Doing great. Great to be here. How's everyone doing?
Doing good. Also with us for the first time, the one, the only Psychotaku. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Great, glad to hear it. And as always, we have Zan back in Gintama image mode.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Otaku No Video. Rising Zan here, and let's get some news on, everyone.
Exactly, and we will start down at the bottom with one of my favorite news stories of the week. You too can learn English with Moe Girls if you have an iPhone or an iPad app or an iPad. Basically, Square Enix has announced that they have launched an app for iOS devices that is basically a dating sim which teaches you English. And you can download, you can buy it now, and you can learn English with Moe Girls. There's an Australian, an English woman, a girl from Florida, and I believe like a fellow student. I'm sorry, your teacher, who of course is a 24-year-old girl. And this will allow you to learn English. And apparently, it's a pretty decent decent game. And it's got fantastic art, and it's just kind of weird to me. I don't know. It just maybe that's just me being American. But why invest all this time into a learn to speak English app? I don't know.
No, it is. As a Japanese person, it is very weird. But the strange thing is, it would be something that I'd be like, oh, okay, that sounds like something I could use as a Japanese. Not because I already know English, but to someone who doesn't know English. But I was wondering if you could like reverse play it so that if you're an English-speaking person, even though it's a Japanese game, could English people play this game and learn Japanese?
Ah, interesting.
I could definitely use that for my Japanese class, since I can't read half the hiragana. It's very sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this could really work as like a kind of dating sim. I thought this was originally going to be it's like a dating sim, but the catch here is that if you want to converse with the girls, you have to speak English phrases.
Yeah. And that's the other thing about the game, is that you have to actually speak English.
Yes.
Oh. You know, and you have to actually, like, you know, get it out correctly and not have, like, slurred words and so forth. Which, A, I'm impressed, and B, wow. That's asking a lot.
My next question is do the girls speak the broken English, or do they speak like real fluent English? Or they're like, "Hello, I am Mary from Australia."
Good day, mate.
Yeah.
And then if you speak like perfect English, like, "Hi, Mary from Australia. My name is the Psychotaku," and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Please say again." And you're like, what?
Sad face. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good. And you know, these games do not have a very awesome track record. So yeah, that's a very good question. And I mean, I can only assume this is basically. I mean, you know, let's be honest. English is an important skill. You know, like it or lump it. And so I think this is aimed at the otaku market to say, hey, you know, you want to get better at doing it. And apparently, you know, having a 2D girlfriend is the way of making you do stuff. So here's a way of doing it.
It'll definitely be interesting to take a look at. I mean, I know I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
If I can, I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like on an iPad. You know, there's this huge app of you speaking to all these girls, and what I want to do is see people playing it in public. That's going to be the fun one.
Which will probably happen.
Oh, I'm sure it'll happen. I can't wait for the YouTube videos. Or
without
videos.
Microphones on, just like blaring the speakers of just like tons of these people playing on the trains. You hear all this broken English.
Hello, welcome to Japan. Yeah, so that's an odd one. Also odd, not in terms of just content, but in terms of just who's together. So two groups I never thought would get together, but it's awesome that they did, got together to make a special art book for a charity relief, of quake relief. Gainax and the artists behind Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh no, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
I think I saw, and we're having difficulty this week actually accessing all of these articles. But it's an 83-page booklet. It contains mostly Gurren Lagann art on the Gainax side, and it's called something like, you know, Aim for Your Best. And it's got that, and it's got apparently Avatar art in it, and it's like $12.
The Last Airbender people, not
Yes.
the Blue people Avatar.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah.
Very important.
And not the M. Night Shyamalan people.
Yeah,
No. Good point.
We have to be very specific when we're talking about Avatar. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
the Nickelodeon
Last
series.
Or Avatar.
Yes.
But yes, I mean that's A. How did they find each other? And I just love this idea that, you know, like, they're friends. You know, like, they've been palling around in bars for years. And like, oh, let's do an art book. Cool. But yeah, 83-page art book.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know you were done. Anyway, I know that Gainax does get around in America a lot. I mean, how do you think Penny and Stocking was made?
True.
Yeah.
Because I know they went to Pixar once. I actually seen like a guy who works at Pixar who has a DeviantArt account, took a picture of some of the Gainax people
Cool.
went to visit. So I know they have some links in America. I didn't know they had a link to the artists of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but yeah.
The other funny thing about that is that, you know, Last Airbender is not a very Gainaxian work. You know, I can understand the Last Airbender folks being, you know, like knowing the Ghibli folks maybe, stuff like that. But, you know, the idea that, like, Gainax are the people that they, like, really admire, I don't know, it just seems weird.
I'd like to see, like, for the earthquake relief that they released, like, a little OVA that had, like, Avatar: The Last Airbender with a Gainax bounce added.
Ooh, yeah!
Oh goodness.
Yeah. They're 14. Oh no, wait, that wouldn't matter.
No.
Not in anime.
Not
They're
in,
about older 12.
especially not in Gainax. Have you seen Nadia? Anyway.
Yeah, true that.
But yeah, and actually one of the things that, you know, again, $12 US. That's nothing for an 83-page art book.
Oh, is it sold in the U.S.?
It's not sold in the US, but that's how much it'll cost.
Aw, dog.
Yeah.
I really want to buy this just because you know how much of a Gurren Lagann fanatic I am.
Yeah. Well,
You keep saying booklet. How big is the actual?
That's a good question. If I could get these pages, actually, let me just go straight to Anime News Network and see if I can pull up the article from there. Yeah, that does seem to be loading. Let's see here. Next, there it is. Let me see here. I don't see anything in here describing the actual size. It's got. Let me see here. They did say it'll be sold at the Comitia, whatever, Dojinshi event on May 5th, and Gainax is planning on selling it off their website, which of course is entirely in Japanese. But, you know, at least it'll be available there. Maybe we can get together some folks who know Japanese to say, okay, you go buy 10 copies and we'll each buy a copy from you.
Mark, are you willing?
Hint, hint.
Here I go. All right, I'm going to get 10 copies for everyone. I come back, I'm like, I got nothing. It was hell. Have you ever been to a Dojinshi event? It's hell.
Yeah.
You just know where you're going. You have the map, and you know exactly where the stand is. You're just like, okay, excuse me, can you can you show me where the Ren Dogon thing is? And people are just like running into you, and you're like, excuse me. So.
Yeah, no, we'd have to pull it off the website, I think, if anything. But man, I mean, this list of artists, I mean, I'm not even going to list all of them, but it's, let's see here, the show's director, Hiroyuki Imaishi, Masahiko Otsuka, Shingo Abe, Akira Amemiya, Kei Anjiki, Shota Ibata, Masahiro Iwasaki, and then, gosh, probably a dozen people from the Avatar side. I mean, there's literally dozens of artists involved in this. Which I think is a really smart thing, actually. You know, instead of saying, okay, we're going to get 3 artists to each pump out 20 things, we get a bunch of different artists to each pump out like 1 drawing, and then it's done.
Yeah. Which is a really good plan, because then you're going to get fans of each artist to come in and buy something, the same thing, but they're buying it for different people, so you get 10 times the fans.
Yeah. Let me just throw up a quick image on the live stream of some of the images they have on the in the art book. So that's the kind of artwork you'd be getting. Which is
I like the cute one with Simone and Nia having communist cape over it. Oh gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's neat stuff. So we'll see. Let's see here. They've also got Bobby Rubio, who not only worked on Last Airbender, he also worked on Up. So
he did.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
again, Pixar.
Yeah, Pixar. So yeah, so cool news story there. What else? So we talk Madoka Magica?
Yes.
Yeah.
The required Madoka Magica articles of the week, because Madoka just will not stay out of the news. Not that I'm complaining. Yes, I am. Anyway, so Madoka Magica, well, first off, probably the big one, is that the first Blu-ray disc was released in Japan this past week, and it sold 22,000 copies in a day. Yeah. It's already the #1 selling anime Blu-ray disc of the season, and the DVD was number 6 on the overall ranking chart. It came out like the last day of the weekly chart, so it's kind of hard to compare to everyone else. But it's done extraordinarily well. The previous top-selling Blu-ray disc of the season was Infinite Stratos with 10,000 discs sold its first day. It eventually, at the end, sold as many discs as Madoka Magica sold on its first day. So yeah, and that's despite actually a recall on the discs. There's some problem with one of the lyrics of one of the songs. So people are still buying
the
it.
Subs and lyrics?
That's what I'm unsure. There's a mistake in the lyrics of the ending character song in the booklet, and a mistake in the dialogue of the second episode at time code 2921 to 2922. I think it's hilarious if you actually know this information.
Holy crap.
I know.
Wow. And we Americans are picky?
Wow.
Excuse me, I have looked through the booklet, and right here on page 7.
No, excuse me. I have looked in the booklet, and I have noted that on page 27, there's an error on this page. And it is very important that you fix this, because the lyric does not mean the same thing that it meant when it was originally aired. And I think it is very, very important. Jeez.
I demand a recall that ruins it for everyone else.
And they did! That's the stunning thing.
Give me back my money! I'm sending it back! My overall enjoyment is ruined now! Do they say how much the Blu-ray is?
I'm sure it's as usual, $90.
See, to us, that's just insane. And there's probably like 2 episodes on that. Let me just go real quick to CD Japan. They're bound to have it. And again, this is for the Blu-ray disc. DVDs don't sell as well amongst the anime fans over in Japan because they are that picky. And we will just weird because you'd assume that all otaku in Japan have a PS3. So they all have Blu-ray players.
Yeah.
So why would they go for anything else? They want, I want a lower quality image.
Yeah.
Because I'm so hardcore. and besides, I heard that the Blu-ray has a mistake on page 27 of the booklet. It doesn't have it on DVD.
And that's it. Is that instead of the regular edition DVD, which is $60 US, they're buying the limited edition Blu-ray disc for $84 US. which, to be fair, does include the CD, soundtrack CD. And let me just check. Yeah, 2 episodes.
Wow.
For 84 bucks.
That means
the anime was better at 480p.
We're doing surprisingly a lot of bashing against nerds this episode.
It's true. Because we're not in the way.
Speaking of, no, it's fine, Mark, but just like for who we are, wow.
I didn't mean to bash. I was just like, wow, there's like a mistake on page 27 of the booklet.
I must say, as the host of an anime and manga themed podcast, that nerds are stupid. Wait a minute.
And all of a sudden 500 Flames hit French female.
Something's not right there.
But I remember back in the day, it was like, I'd go over to Japan, I'd be like, I want to get some anime on VHS, and then I'd look, and they'd be like $60 for one episode on VHS. I'm like, this is not worth it.
Yeah. Well, it's why they're, they have such a problem with reverse importing. If it comes out soon over here, the folks in Japan just buy the English release because it's, a fourth the price.
Yeah.
It's really, again, over here it would be maybe $20 for 4 episodes.
And the fans still come for it.
The fans still come for it, yes. Yeah. It should be, the entire series for $35. What's the problem?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just amazing to think about. I mean, it'd be $20 over here, and then plus the huge shipping cost to get it to Japan, and they're still paying only half price.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah. We have it good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, certainly, if nothing else, this shows that Madoka Magica is doing very well. I gotta think. So, you figure they're making probably, a good amount on those limited edition releases. So we're figuring out of those $80, they're probably making 20 or 30. Multiplied times 22,000 in a day.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, they have, considering that a typical anime is made for maybe $200,000-$300,000, for 13-episode series, over in Japan, they've basically made their money back.
They've made over $500,000 already.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn. And of course, we have no idea what the actual numbers are, but in terms of how much profit they're making, but still, jeez.
Yeah.
Good for them.
How much do you think they would make from just the TV series alone? Like, do they make money while doing the TV series?
Generally not, from what I understand.
No? Yeah.
They basically sink the money into that and then hope they make it back on DVD sales and character sales.
Okay. Yeah, so TV release is like advertisement.
Yeah.
So this series was already on TV for free. So people have already seen this series, and they have DVRs in Japan. So probably the fans already had the show DVR'd on their system, and now they're going out and buying the Blu-ray, which is probably like $80, $85 just reached it, and they sold 22,000 when it was free.
It's because they need the book with the proper dialogue.
Oh, that is correct. Yes. But the flip side is that over here we don't get this on TV. Like we get a few shows on TV for free, but then it comes out on DVD, 4 episodes for like $20 to $30, and then we complain, and we don't buy 22,000 of series.
And unless we
I'm
forget,
not sure what point I'm trying to make.
Anime fans are stupid. No. Actually, no. And the other thing too is, we do get anime on TV over here too, and it's, standard def on the Japan channel. Maybe dubbed, maybe subbed, depends on what they feel that day. And then we get the really nice quality DVD if we want to. Over there, they're also getting, these are broadcast on satellite. It's probably high quality. They're getting the full version, and yet they have to. That's the other problem too, is that it's not like the choices between this and the cheap bargain basement release. It's $80 or $60. Or free.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, you gotta think though. They're gonna want to use that room for Madoka Magica season 2.
True. Well, that's the other amazing thing. Remember, this is $80 for the first 2 episodes. They've still got to make 6 more purchases.
Well, it was limited edition though.
That's true.
Probably came with a figure or something.
And the very nice booklet and the CD.
Pencil board.
And the pencil board. Actually, let's see here. According to CD Japan, it contains episode 1. Oh, a drama CD.
Oh, there you go.
So that's definitely nice. As well as a clear case and a digipack. So apparently you can also summon a creature from the digital world to defend yourself from.
That's what I was thinking.
No, they just say it's a digipack. I don't know. That's awesome.
I thought Tamagotchi were dead.
Into Madoka Magica.
Yes, but only to terrible J-pop. So, yeah. I shouldn't say terrible. I like the music. Anyway, there's also an audio commentary. So I'm assuming they got the director introduced. So that would be nice, actually.
I kind of figured that, honestly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all worth $80?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Now the other thing to remember is this Blu-ray, so it is region. So we could all buy this if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It is region free.
Does that English subs?
No. But
there subtitles for the commentary?
Probably not. But
I'm sorry, I'm just bashing.
But it's worth $80, so you should buy it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You should have seen the other shows that we've done, Mark. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, no question. We have strong opinions.
Final Fantasy 13 was not a game.
Oh no, Mark, we were all ripping I wasn't on the show at the time, but they were ripping their hair out over whether or not Final Fantasy 13 was a game or not. It was awesome.
we had strong thoughts on that one.
They're like, this is a tech demo that actually got out.
Then we got into SimCity, and it was complicated. Okay, so
to the other Madoka Magica story.
Yes, so that is a significant one. Let me see if I can pull that one. That was a little bit later, or
it was right after, I thought.
Let me see. Well, I'm trying to find it on ANN, and it's not there.
I think I know the story enough.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you gotta know it?
No, go ahead.
Well, the basic story is, obviously nuclear power plant. We need more workers, and one of the workers, quoted, wrote on his work application. That's not clear yet. Said, I know that working at a nuclear power plant is dangerous work, but since no one's died, I think that it'll be okay. Besides, I watched the last episode of Madoka Magica, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what does that mean?
That needs a little bit of explanation on my part, since, Cardi, one of my partners on Otaku Underground, is going to kill me if I don't talk about this.
Yeah.
Basically, the last episode of Madoka Magica, basically, before the girls become magical girls, and explain once, no spoilers here, they have to give a wish to become a magical girl. So they have to wish for anything in the world, anything beyond possibility, and then they become a magical girl. And Madoka has been saving her wish basically all the way. She has not been become a magical girl throughout most anyway. And she wishes for something, and it basically solves everyone's problems. However, in return, she suffers probably one of the worst deaths I can ever imagine in anime, and that's not a spoiler either.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, how deaths can be gory or something like that. This death is just so mentally bad when you think about it. It's
So basically, he's going on the fact that she wished for everything to be okay, so everything will be okay, so that I can now work at the nuclear power plant.
Oh, I was taking it in a different context. I thought he meant, I've seen the final episode, my life is complete, let's get this over with.
Okay.
I
was going more I watched this anime must be real. Kind of I've seen The Incredible Hulk, I'm stupid if I don't work at the nuclear power plant. I want superpowers, and I'm gonna work at the nuclear power plant, and it'll happen. It's just a matter of time.
I figured it was basically I watched the final episode and nothing could be bad anymore. You know, nothing could be worse than that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, life is good, basically.
That could be.
I don't know.
Again, I can talk more about what exactly happens, but that would be going through
Yeah. It was
but yeah.
The other question... No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the other questions is that, you know, writers do things like this a lot, where they say, I applied for a job, or I did X, I did Y, and it was really done more for the story. So I'm a little bit unsure, well, I am unsure as to whether this was more, I filled out the application and put this in there just to be funny, and submitted it knowing I would never actually get in there, because I don't know the first thing about cleaning up nuclear waste. Which you gotta expect. And as you said, he has not heard back from about the application. And the job listing's been removed and so forth. So, I mean, I kind of suspect there's kind of like, okay, I really need a column idea. I really need an article. Okay, fine, I'll fill this out and submit it and say that. So, you know, I don't know how real this is, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Well, the thing is, I think that sounds something more like, no offense, that an American would do.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I think how he would see it was, he saw, like, this girl sacrifice herself. To that extent.
Yeah.
And he's like, if that girl can do that, I can work at a nuclear power plant. Maybe I'm trying to look too much right into a light of this guy, but just watching last episode of Madoka Magica is the only thing I can really think of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's trying to get out of the draft or something. He's like,
Yeah.
I watch anime. She wished for all life to be good, so now I can work at this power plant. This guy reading it like, what the hell? Well, we gotta get this guy.
Go in here. It'll be fine. Go into that. Click.
Well, 25% of Japan did watch it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it got huge numbers for its final episode. So, I wonder if that isn't part of it too. Is that Magica has become popular enough that it is kind of a cultural byword now. Obviously, you know, not in a huge way, but I wonder if that's kind of, you know, that's something you can reference in an article and folks will know what you're talking about.
Probably. I mean, I think it's moving close to the popularity of those ones that get the attention even in America, like Harvey did.
Yeah.
It's getting to that point, so yeah, I think it'll get there.
Yeah.
I just love the idea that article was so entertaining, that resume was so entertaining that they do try to bring him in. And then he's like totally devastated because he only wrote it as a joke.
Wait, you actually, wait, no.
But everything will be fine.
Put on this suit, go in there, don't pay attention to the clicking. The clicking doesn't mean anything. You're fine. Keep on going. Oh, love it. All right, so in other sort of odd news, Microsoft, they really want people to like their stuff. They want to like it so much that they have commissioned a manga about Windows Azure. They started this manga called Cloud Girl Mado Tokuma to Aoi Sora, aka Cloud Girl, Windows Clouds, and the Azure Skies. An epic manga, they're calling it an epic manga, that will explain and promote Microsoft's Windows Azure Cloud Services system.
Okay.
As a manga. I am not making this up.
I know you're not, because I read the article.
The weird thing is that you said that, and I thought of two things, and those two things wasn't what you said.
Okay.
Basically an instruction book thing. The first one was just like a slice of life anime or manga about using Windows and how awesome it is. But the second idea that I came up with was that she gets warped in the magical world of Windows. And she has to fight like recycling bins and like folders and stuff. It's like, no, I've been captured by folders. I need you, EXE sword or something, and like battle.
I would buy that manga, actually. So yeah, so put it up on the stream real quick. Those who want to see what it looks like, I've got a quick preview up there. They posted a few pages from it, so you can actually like read it online. The epic story of Windows Cloud Services.
Yeah. Also, this is the first time I've ever heard that Microsoft has a Japanese mascot.
True.
Yeah, I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, they've now of course I think we all know about the OS Tons. Which were characters that were created by, like, two-choners, you know, to personify Windows 98 and Windows XP and so forth.
I didn't know about that, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. And basically, there's like a blue-haired girl and so forth and so on. They all have various attributes. The amount of memory storage space required is represented by breast size. Yeah. And
Windows Vista just sleeps a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 98 the complete ditz. Anyway, but this is the first time I've heard of an actual official thing. The character Claudia is the Cloud Services personification. This is just so bizarre. They also have a Nanami Madobe, which is their Windows 7 mascot. And yeah, bizarre.
Yeah, and there's apparently like a guy there too.
Okay, doesn't surprise me. But
straight man.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, I mean, one of the neat things is this means, you know, manga sells stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm just picturing like an anime spin-off happening, and then like there's a game that's based on it, and it's only exclusive to like PlayStation 3.
Oh, that would be painful.
Just to make all the otaku be like, what?
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually. All right. So what else? Let's see here. This is kind of cool. Full page ad in Variety for the next Space Pirate Cobra film.
Oh yeah.
So well known for older fans series Space Pirate Cobra. They're making a movie out of it. The one question I have is, this looks like it's going to be a live action film.
Nice.
It's being directed by the guy who directed Piranha 3D, so hey.
Holy crap.
Piranha 3D?
Yes.
At first I thought it was like a Japanese company doing this. I'm like, alright, that's cool. It's like, no, American company doing this? Like, what? They're taking a Japanese title that's not that widely known in America.
No.
Is an American company doing this, or an American director?
Onyx Films in Studio 37. So apparently, yeah, they're American.
Yeah, that's all American.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, he also did the remake of The Hills Have Eyes, which apparently, from what I've heard just a few things, and apparently that was a very good remake.
Okay.
So, you know, he's not a hack. Apparently.
Well, the thing is that so far all he's done is like horror and action horror.
Yeah. Now the script writers behind The Hills Have Eyes are also writing the script on this, and producing, which is always a good sign. So yeah, I'm totally, honestly unsure about this. You know, when somebody basically runs a full page ad in Variety about their remake of an anime from the 80s, they've got some stones.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're confident, which I guess is a good thing.
I guess.
But they did Piranha 3D.
Well, Piranha 3D wasn't too bad for what it was.
Yeah, and it's pulpy.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the weird thing, though. Like, from what I remember from the little I've read of Space Pirate Cobra, it crap. Now I can't remember anything about Space Pirate. God damn it.
Yeah,
it's a really old shonen series, though.
Yeah. The manga was from the 70s, I believe. I'm sorry. There we go.
Yeah.
Began in Weekly Shonen Jump in 1978.
Yeah.
Anime TV series and film in 82. There was an OVA in 2008. I didn't know that. And then
what kind of content did it have?
It's sci-fi, kind of action-y.
And I think fairly gory.
Yeah, probably. Since
it was more of an adult-themed manga/anime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of like Goku Midnight Eye and the other, you blow your head off.
Pretty much. The only thing that I can remember about Space Pirate Cobra is that he basically had an arm which he can kind of work as an ejector arm.
Okay.
And a beam arm.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, there was a blue alien ninja girl.
Of course.
So he was Mega Man. All right.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay. So it's a shonen, seinen kind of actiony, gory thing. That could probably be pulled off by the guy who did Evil Fish and 3D boobs.
Well, you have an excellent point. I mean, this does sound like something that really is, it's a B movie.
Yeah, it's up that alley.
Yeah.
It'll work.
Yeah, it'll work. I mean, it'll be cheesy, but I mean, let's face it, Space Pirate Cobra is cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's no expectations. No one really knows what this series is about. It's just like space, Mega Man, Blue Girl. All right, as long as they have those three things.
I'm imagining the boardroom conversation. Okay, so what we got? Mega Man guy, blue alien chick, sold. Here's $3 million.
Sold more. the big thing is, the Piranha 3D did well.
Yeah.
I mean, people went to it for the cheese factor and the violence.
Yeah.
So they know what to expect from this director now. So they're probably going to go back for the same thing, and it'll sell for no reason.
Yeah. It's snakes on a plane.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what it is.
Cobra's on a plane.
Cobra's on a plane. Cobra's in space.
Cobra's in space. Yeah. On the plus side, I haven't watched this yet, so this will be the one anime movie that I'll actually like, made by Americans.
There we go.
Yeah, honestly, this is actually something I want to talk about. This is there's a lot of retro anime being brought into live-action movies recently. Hasn't there?
Yeah. Captain Harlock.
Yeah, like the Yamato movie.
Yamato movie.
We're still waiting on Battle Angel Alita.
True.
Yeah.
The Bubblegum Crisis film.
Akira.
Supposedly there's some kind of Robotech movie with Tobey Maguire.
Right. Yes. Everyone's looking forward to. Exactly.
Keanu Reeves Cowboy Bebop movie.
Which again, everyone is looking forward to.
Yeah, honestly, actually, I have to say this right now because yesterday I had this huge talk with a lot of my otaku friends about the Akira movie coming out in 2012.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, oh, no, those are rumors made up to stir up controversy. And they're like, no, it's true. They're actually going to try and get, crap. I'm bad with young actors. Old insect singer and a guy who played the main vampire in Twilight.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Those two.
Well, there was some there was some stuff about
Patterson
this.
And the other guy. Crap, can't remember his name.
Yeah, there's some controversy. George Takei, as who everyone knows as Mr. Sulu on Star Trek.
Yeah.
He posted a thing on his Twitter stream complaining about the fact that the entire cast of Akira is going to be white.
Yeah.
Which doesn't quite makes sense. And of course we can get back into that whole thing. But I mean, yeah, and if George Takei is posting about it on his Twitter stream, then there's probably it's probably more than just rumor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, apparently it's moving forward. And actually, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, I'd rather they make a weird live action adaptation of Cobra than of Akira.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know more about Akira, and you got more invested.
Yeah.
Versus Cobra. Well, we've already.
We don't know jack shit.
and Akira,
space.
And the thing is, Akira was stunningly well done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The Cobra anime, I haven't seen them. I'm betting there's room for improvement. I don't think that you're sort of looking at a paragon of anime there. So it's like, okay, it's different.
Yeah, probably white blood everywhere. Honestly, that's what the 80s were well known for, just white blood, like semen, testosterone, blood everywhere.
You have a point. A very disturbing one. But yeah, so that is an odd one, but you know, and like we say, I think it's good that they're bringing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
take a look at this little cover. It's going to be cheesy.
Okay. We've got a cover.
Let me look.
It's loading, so I got to admit I'm curious. We actually have something on comingsoon.net. I'm hearing laughter. It's always slow for me because I'm streaming out. Holy guacamole!
That's cheesy.
I hope this is the actual trailer.
Oh God, that is so 80s.
hope this is the actual trailer. Let me scale this down so folks can actually see it.
At least he
Wow.
looks accurate, so I'll give him that. He actually looks like Cobra.
It's Duke Nukem.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. It's Duke Nukem.
Yeah, he looks exactly like the Cobra that I remember when playing Jump Ultimate Stars. White, blonde, with a laser
I'm not
cannon.
complaining either. I want to see this movie right now.
Wow. So it's like you pick, and you know, better this than they pick something like, you know, I made Piranha 3D. I'm gonna remake, you know, Ranma 1/2. No. Remake Cobra. There we go.
Guaranteed pooch.
Well, that's true.
Oh yeah.
You'd have a lot of fun with that splashing
No.
water.
He makes this, then he makes Dirty Pair live action.
Ooh, yes. I like it. I like it.
Bubblegum Crisis.
BGC he could do, although there's not that much in the way of skin in Bubblegum Crisis, except when they're getting in and out of the hard suits. But he can have fun with it. One of my favorite sort of old man anime jokes is or stories is when I went into Best Buy like 10 years ago, and they had a little DVD section, and in their cartoon section was original Bubblegum Crisis OVA. I'm like, you do realize, you know, they're naked for a significant chunk of that. You know, and like there's swearing and blood and people exploding, you know, viscerally. You know, it's a cartoon. So yeah. Anyway. So yeah, so Cobra live action film. Okay. What else? Lone Wolf and Cub. That was a neat one. So, for those who don't know, Lone Wolf and Cub is one of these absolutely classic Japanese manga. And Dark Horse brought it out over here actually a long time ago. The original release of Lone Wolf and Cub in America, I'm just pulling this up to make them absolutely sure, a decade ago, they released Lone Wolf and Cub over here. It was one of the first, like, real full-scale manga releases in America. They're like, we're going to do this right, we're going to do the whole thing. It's like 9,000 volumes, and we're going to bring it all, 28 volumes, and they brought it out, and Dark Horse recently released it on their digital store. It is their #2 bestseller.
Holy crap.
For all of Dark Horse games. And that's not just views, that's best-selling. So apparently folks really like Lone Wolf and Cub.
What's number 1?
The Mass Effect comic.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, folks.
What? It's a video game-based comic book?
Dude,
I'm expecting, like, Hellboy or something. You know, I would even take, like, Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah.
Or, like, Mass Effect. What? Granted, I can't, you know, all of you out there who are, like, yelling at me for the game was great, yes.
Yeah.
But a comic book based off the game is never good. Never. All right, I'm done.
I don't know, maybe it's different this time. And of course, I think video games suck. So I'm joking. But no, it is now. Another thing to note is that Lone Wolf and Cub is Dark Horse's best-selling print title ever. They've sold 1.3 million copies of Lone Wolf and Cub.
Holy crap,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's certainly done well for them, which is odd because I mean, Lone Wolf and Cub is extremely Japanese.
Yeah.
It's a samurai story, a samurai revenge story, and he's got this little kid with him, and it's not for the faint of heart, and folks are apparently gobbling it up.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that that manga, even though it came out in America 10 years ago, that manga has been out for 20 years prior to that. And basically it's kind of a staple story about one parent and a kid surviving in the world, and it's basically been changed over the years and put into American cinema and other Japanese movies, and you see it all the time. And so it's kind of where it all started. So bringing it out 10 years ago, people read it and this story is familiar to me. I'm going to get into this.
True.
Oh, this is awesome, and it just kind of explodes like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, this is a staple of Asian cinema in general. FYI, if you're interested in picking this up, each volume is $5 each on the digital store, as opposed to normally $13 for the print comics. So that's a pretty good price, all things considered. They only have, this is another interesting thing. They only have the first 4 volumes available, so you're not even getting the whole story, and it's still selling that well.
Wow.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah. Well, at least now we know whenever Dark Horse needs more money, just re-release it.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to tell you, Mark, before we go on is, did you hear about the Mass Effect anime that's being made?
Jesus, okay. No, I have not heard of the Mass Effect. And again, great game. Yes.
Yeah.
Does it need an anime?
Yes! It needs everything! It is the greatest thing ever!
The anime 4 weeks to outsell Nausicaa.
Sadly, I would agree with that.
Halo, great game. Does it need an anime?
That's a funny story. It's actually being made by the same company that made Halo Legends.
That does not surprise me.
Well, blame Animatrix.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Ever since it was proved that you could take an existing property and make an anime that can sell well, that's how they do it. And to be fair, I was very intrigued by Batman Gotham Knight. It was an interesting thing. The Halo Legends thing had its interesting moments.
What about X-Men and Iron Man and Wolverine?
And I will say, I finished the Iron Man anime and I was impressed.
I finished the Wolverine anime, and I still say that Tomino was behind it all.
Really?
Well, let me just say this. Everyone dies. No spoiler. Except for one person.
Wow.
Give you a hint. It's the obvious person.
Okay, yeah.
The one who can't die.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, okay.
As for X-Men, Gene. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, big shock there. Yeah, and, man, X-Men. Anyway, and to be fair, I think X-Men is one of the few works that are not helped by an anime treatment.
My friends and I are still waiting for Deadpool anime to come out.
Yeah, but X-Men just isn't very anime-like to me.
Yeah, again, Deadpool. Deadpool is actually really hot in Japan, so it's really surprising.
Yeah.
Deadpool is hot everywhere.
Yeah, you got a point.
Oh, no, he's only hot in the maid's outfit.
Oh!
There is an outfit of him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Is there a dating game where I can learn English with Deadpool?
He wears the suit over is the thing, though. He always has to have the suit on.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, of course, modesty.
See, the thing is that the joke is, he's on top of a tower with a grill holding him. He's like, help me, Spider-Man. He's like, you don't have to do this. It's the dress, isn't it?
Gotcha. So let's see. Let's go into some of the other odder, lower level news, because there's some fun little things worth talking about. The Tokyo Pop Garage Sale. I just think it's funny. So basically, Tokyo Pop.
All the news is funny this week.
It's true. Tokyo Pop's going out of business, and they've announced, stop by our offices mid-May, where we'll basically dump all of our stuff out on the street, and you can just kind of buy it like a garage sale.
Which we're all sad that Tokyopop is going down. We are sad.
Yeah.
Let's put that out there first. But it's just hilarious that they're like, would you like this desk lamp?
Well,
I'll give you $5 for that desk lamp. Sold! All right.
They also didn't end the most gracefully after they tried pulling off the America's Greatest Otaku reality show.
Yeah.
Wow, what? I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah.
All right, settle in.
I'll link you after the show, okay? How about that, Mark?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
It's cringeworthy.
Yeah. So basically, it's exactly what you think. So basically, so the garage sale will include manga, posters, and other items from the offices, which, I think it's going to be desk lamps.
Figurines.
They're also doing a contest where the company will select 10 fans who submit fan arts, video, costumes, or other media to its Facebook page before May 1st, so hurry. The winner will receive a goodie bag, which must be picked up in person. So they basically stuff a bunch of stuff in a bag and give it to you for free.
Sorry, I was just picturing all right, we're gonna have this last ditch contest.
Yeah.
We're gonna send you a goodie bag. It's gonna be filled with
business cards.
I just love that they're making. I love that they're making the fans work for the stuff they have to get rid of.
We've got manila folders here.
I got my goodie bag. It has 3 business cards, 4 manila folders, paper clips, and
a resume.
Well, I was gonna break this over my knee, but if you paint my house, I'll give it to you.
You know what is probably what's probably also in the goodie bag? A little note that says, "Thank you for buying all my manga, jerk."
Yeah, pretty much. And by the way, in case you're curious, the Tokyopop tour bus that they use for America's Greatest Otaku already been returned to the bus company. So that will not be for sale.
Goodie bag.
No.
They're going to drive up in the bus with the goodie bag to deliver it to you.
And they'll give you the bus because they don't need it
They'll
anymore.
give you the bus.
Yeah.
It was actually really a rather nice bus, to be honest. It was a rather nice bus.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some. I'm just looking at a screenshot of it right now, and it's a nice bus. They have art all over it. It's cool. But so apparently it's going to get repainted and turned back into a normal bus.
Well, there was that.
Oh, Tokyopop. I mean, in Tokyopop, it's worth mentioning. I mean, Tokyopop. Remember, they were the first to publish manga unflopped. You know, they brought out a lot of stuff that was not coming out, and they had some horrible quality dips. Ed Sizemore and I were talking about that on Friday, and you know, they made a lot of mistakes. But you know, I was in my library this morning, and I was looking through, and probably about half the manga they have in there is Tokyopop. You know, there's just tremendous amounts out there. So it is unfortunate seeing them, you know, dry up and wither and fly away.
And what is because they were also the first company to break the barrier into Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
And so you could get it really. You didn't have to go to your local comic book store to get manga anymore. You could go to your grocery store or Barnes and Noble or your wherever you go. And so now I'm wondering what is it going to be like to go into Barnes and Noble? Is there going to be a manga section, or is it just going to
and Barnes and Noble
away?
Yeah, and Barnes and Noble has been shrinking their manga selection too.
Yeah.
Well, for the record, I have to say there's more Viz Media manga out there than Tokyopop.
Okay.
And Dark Horse manga.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, it's probably just, you know, my library's specific selection. But, I mean, it's going to be a big hole. And, I mean, one of the problems, too, is that, as I think we mentioned before, there's no one else who's going to step up. You know, it's not like there's a huge industry of manga publishers out there who are now going to be licensing all the stuff that Tokyopop was licensing before. So, I think we're going to see a shrink in the manga business for a while.
Yeah, for a little while. I mean, we've talked about it before. All these businesses are dropping like flies, but it's like a wave. It'll go down and come back up eventually.
Yeah. And
it'll be like the comic book boom of 1990.
Yeah.
You know, it'll hit big and then come back.
And it's been telegraphed for a long time for the fact that folks don't really buy manga that much, at least in America. So there just really isn't enough purchasing power to support all these companies. They expanded because there was the the demand for a while, but the demand dried up, and so the companies do. That's how it works.
For the record, there's always right stuff.
True. True. Yeah. And there are a few other companies. Viz is doing great stuff. Vertical's doing amazing stuff.
Amazon itself.
Does Amazon license manga?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Really?
I would think so. I'm gonna have to check. I thought I bought one of them once for a friend.
Interesting. Wow. Be curious to look into that. What else? Other little bits. Some of the One Piece downloaders are settling out of court. This is the previous story about Funimation suing a bunch of suing a bunch of One Piece downloaders, and some of them are paying up.
It looks like Amazon, just to go back to that real quick, it looks like Amazon licensed from Tokyo Pop in the past.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So and the weird thing is you can get them like for up and down prices. Like you can get them for paperback for like $3.49.
Yeah. And
apparently there's school binding for $20 for one volume.
Interesting.
That's kind of highway robbery, but whatever.
Yeah.
School binding, so like hardbound.
It says library binding, school binding.
I think library binding is a somewhat stronger binding than usual, because it's meant for going to be sitting there in a library and used for heavily for 10 years. So that might help. But then again, I mean new versus used prices are weird anyway.
Right.
Heck, try to buy the original Gundam novels now.
Yeah, I like how you can buy them used for 1 penny. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are the ones that are condition not specified. Okay. In other words, it's there's 3 pages left. So that's about it. One interesting trend, actually, a couple of stories this week about Japanese Blu-ray discs, including the English sub and/or dub. Both the Kenshin re-release and the Ghost Town Blu-ray discs are going to have English versions of them, and I'm wondering why. I don't quite get that. Why would they include that on there? What's the advantage? I mean, do folks not want to learn?
In Japan or America?
In Japan.
Oh.
Well, I don't understand the dub, really, because the subtitle thing, they've been doing that on Studio Ghibli movies for years now, since, Spirited Away. So if you bought the Japanese copy of Spirited Away, it came with English subtitles.
Yeah.
But the dub, I'm really confused about. I have heard that there is a small percentage of Japanese fans that like the dub. Like they they're so otaku that they buy the English copy, they have the Japanese copy, and they watch the dub, and I guess compare notes or enjoy it or something.
Okay.
So I guess it's for that percentage, and I mean, well, the thing with Kenshin is it's already come out, so it doesn't make sense. Like the business side of me would say that the reason why they would do that is they would get more sales from Americans to buy the products in Japan because they're like $80, and then plus shipping, all that other stuff. Like some guy in Iowa is going to pay $120 for this Kenshin Blu-ray thing.
Just one.
And he's an action figure with it. Something like that. But then it makes me want to think that, is Kenshin available on Blu-ray in America?
I don't think it's available on Blu-ray anyway.
I don't think so. Yeah, I haven't heard any hide or hair from Kenshin in a while.
No, there was certainly no Blu-ray release in America, and I'm sure this is the first Blu-ray disc released in Japan.
So that would be the logical court would be for the Americans to buy them directly from Japan.
Who is buying? You know, I mean, okay.
It could be.
Lane is my
Let's
favorite.
learn English with Kenshin.
Lane is my favorite anime of all time. They released it on Blu-ray in Japan. It's like $300. No! No! I am not buying that. I would love to, but no. So who is actually going out there and and Kenshin's what, like 83 episodes? You know, that's got to be insane. You know, here's all of Kenshin for $3,000. You know,
I think what happened is Japan was like, all right, Americans and Japanese people love Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Let's take Dragon Ball Z, cut out all the crap, and then repackage it and sell it back to the fans as Dragon Ball Kai.
Yep.
Or Dragon Ball Remastered.
People, there's not enough fans going, what the hell are you doing? Like, no, we're not going to take this anymore. Stop. We're not going to watch your crappy Dragon Ball Kai. We've already seen it. It was called Dragon Ball Z, and it was in the 90s. But no, not only do they air it, fans are, like, fan-subbing it.
It's
and, like,
hugely popular.
Yes.
And not only that, Funimation bought the rights again to it and are redubbing the series, and people are actually buying it.
Because this is the ultimate version of Dragon Ball Z.
But it's the same thing, and people are rebuying it. I love Dragon Ball Z. Don't get me wrong, but I am not that stupid. I am not gonna buy an old series that's cut out. And while I'm on this rant about that Evangelion 1.0, don't try to tell me that crap. No, I'm done, okay? I'm done with Evangelion. I was never the biggest Evangelion fan, and now I have to watch people. I have to go to Anime Expo, go to like a panel, and go, all right, I'm going to watch your Evangelion 1.0, and it better be good. It better be some new stuff. No, it's the first 5 episodes regurgitated back at, and I don't care what kind of fan you are. Don't give me that reanimated crap. I don't give a damn about that. The story's the same. I could just go down the street and for like $30 get the whole series, or I could pay $30 to buy Evangelion 1.0 on Blu-ray. No, thank you.
I agree with you 100%. I will say one thing: Evangelion 2.0 does change everything.
Okay.
I will give them that much credit. I had the exact same reaction. We actually did this. One of the earliest episodes of Talking to a Video, we were talking about EVA 1.0, and my friend came on. This was a beautiful remake of the first 8 episodes. What did I just watch? You know, that was exactly the thing. Yeah. Now, just to be clear, you say you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, so you don't own the original VHS release, the original DVD release, the special edition DVD re-release of Dragon Ball Z. What was the special edition, like, widescreen version they did? And Dragon Ball Kai.
Yep.
You haven't bought all of those?
DVD and Blu-ray.
Yes, exactly. DVD and Blu-ray. I'm surprised. I don't think you're a real fan, personally.
You know,
I already have Dragon Ball Kai.
Remastered.
I'm just waiting 20 years from now when they release Dragon Ball Kai edited, called Dragon Ball something else.
Dragon Ball Double Kai. Dragon Ball Double Kai, which is the director's original intent. See, they went back and asked, and
they re-edited it so it matches the manga.
like frame for frame, shot for shot matches the manga. gosh.
And they insert all the scenes that weren't in the anime that were in the manga.
And people will buy it.
I'm so glad that I was able to channel all my rage of Evangelion through Mark just right now.
Yeah, I was at Anime Expo. I think it was last year, and it was like Sunday. And there was like nothing to do, and I was like looking at the schedule. And I was like, Evangelion 1.0. Well, okay, I'm not the biggest Evangelion fan. I actually don't really like Evangelion, but you know what?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Let's just take a look.
Give him a chance.
This is. And we went in there, and there was a Plug Suit Ray cosplayer, and she was hot. And she was sitting watching Evangelion 1.0. Halfway through Evangelion 1.0, I looked over to my friend, and I was like, let's get the hell out of here. This is garbage. I am not sitting through here. And so I get up, I walk out, and then not like 20 seconds later, I see Plug Suit Ray walking out.
Wow. There we go.
The thing about Dragon Ball is they're probably not going to remaster it or re-edit it again. What they're going to do is they're going to cycle around and feed us the original Dragon Ball.
Ah, yes. This is the original perfect version.
Oh, no, I just thought of one thing that they could do. They could put it in 3D.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Oh, God.
And call it Dragon Ball 3D.
There we are. I smell money. Sadly, I actually do smell money in that.
Well, let's look on the bright side. People. At least it's not as bad as George Lucas releasing all 6 Star Wars films in 3D.
True.
Starting with the first one.
Yeah, that's true. So yes, it's true. So I actually agree with what you're saying in terms of I think, to be honest, a lot of these things in terms of putting the subs on the Japanese, it's basically extras. You know, we're going to release it on Blu-ray anyway. We might as well put the subs on there. Now, granted, they still have to license those. You know, those are owned by whatever is the English companies. But you know, might as well. It can't hurt. It's there. And actually, I mean, they did this for Lane and Hibernate Renmei too. When they released those, they had the English dubs and subs. Granted, that was easier because it was all by the same company.
Well, the thing about English dubs and subs is that the American companies actually license the anime from Japan.
Right.
So after the license runs out, the Japanese company owns everything still.
Well, but they don't own that dub.
So yeah, so I know that Bang Zoom did the dub for Bandai. No, it wasn't for Bandai. It was for Media Blasters, so that they could do the dub for Kenshin. And so now that I'm sure that it's been their contract is up, so all that stuff that they did goes back to like the original Japanese company.
Well, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that, I mean, when Funimation licensed it, and then they produced the dub, or you know, whoever licensed it, and then they produced the dub. How would the dub be owned by the original company when the original company didn't make it?
Yeah. Maybe they bought all of them.
It's whatever they settle in the terms of the contract.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it can go either way.
That's a very good point. So it could well be. So that's an interesting point. Is that apparently the Japanese company is now putting in there, you know, we own the rights to the dub as well.
Right.
Which seems, I don't know. If I were an anime company, an English dubbing company, that would worry me a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, from our point of view, it's that cut and dry where we're like, I don't know about that. But from their point of view, it's like, okay, you don't want you want to own the rights to the dub. Well, then we're going to go somewhere else and have someone else sign this contract that they'll give us the rights anyway, and we'll not give you the money to like do it.
So this gets back to the question. I mean, well, why is it worth that? You know, the Japanese company is doing it.
Hold on. Now that I'm thinking about it, would there be rights to a dub, or would it be a contract job where they just sign a contract, they get paid up front like $10,000 to do a dub, and then their business is over?
No, I think it's licensed. And I'm actually planning on an interview with Adam Sheehan, so I'm hoping I can get some answers to that. But one of the things is that basically Funimation and the other companies are typically independent companies. They license from Japan, use whatever stuff. They then have the rights to sell discs for that. And I think typically it's literally we're buying the rights to sell 10,000 copies or whatever. And so once that's done, and once they've made those and done them and put them in their warehouse, they're done. But they can sell all of those discs that they have produced. But then the Japanese company is then free to do whatever they want. And I'm sure there's you now have a 2-year period during which you can't then license to other people or whatever. I think they are independent. But it's interesting. So this gets back to the question, why are the Japanese companies insisting on that so they can put it on their discs? I'm just wondering, what is the social push to get these on there?
Well, 2 things I have an idea for. One is the only solid one, which is remember that they're coming up with thinking of the idea that re-release Kenshin. It was last episode we talked about this. Yeah, and they're planning on restarting Kenshin, kind of like how Full Metal Alchemist did with Brotherhood. At least that's the plan so far. That could be a reason. As for the sub or dub thing, the only thing I can think of is maybe the Otaku are so hardcore they want to compare the singers to the opening theme.
Possible. Yeah.
Yeah, because even you and me said that the resemblance to the Sue singers is just uncanny.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and that could, if there are enough otaku who are that obsessed with the show that they will buy every foreign release, which does not surprise me. It could be that it's they care about all the different dubs and subs out there, so we're gonna put it all on. Also, we are living in a post-Gundam Unicorn world. It could be that the fans are now more used to buying a disc which has the dub on it. Since that's what they got with Gundam Unicorn.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah.
During this conversation, though, what we were talking about was, companies overseas. And we know for a fact that, Mark, Warner Brothers has a place over in Japan, right? It has, a business in Japan, Warner Brothers?
Yeah, Warner Brothers does have a...
yeah.
They have a base in Japan. I'm sorry. I blanked
so.
on the word. Went to base.
Well, I thought so because they did the Gintama anime, the movie, and even made a joke about the Warner Brothers covering it with this funny joke. Anyway, what if one of the Japanese anime companies took their business also over to America, and when they make a movie, let's say Toei came over to California and opened base of operations. What if when they make the next big action shonen anime, it goes to both sides?
Well, what do you mean going to both sides? As in simultaneous release?
When they released the newest big actiony shonen fight 'em up anime, and it's being released in Japan, it's also being released here on Cartoon Network, and, Nickelodeon or Disney or something.
Okay.
What would the results be of that?
I don't know. I mean, one of the big questions is, does that stuff actually sell over here? I mean, it's been kind of a crapshoot for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, Bandai has had a California office for years and years, because they've been trying to sell Gundam in America, and it just doesn't work.
But at the same time, they sold Power Rangers in America.
Yeah.
And that really worked.
Did pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's a possibility that when they release the dub in Japan, what they're doing is they're preparing to also market Kenshin in America without having to sell their license to someone like Funimation.
Interesting. So basically, you're thinking that they're building this Blu-ray disc so they can then sell that maybe at discount prices over here in America, and they have it all built already.
It all goes to them. They don't have to license it to someone else. It's all theirs.
Well, that's what Aniplex has been doing a lot too. They've been doing a lot of independent releases recently because they said basically why go to a middleman in America when we can just release it ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, Funimation's been that middleman a lot of the time, especially with the simulcasts, especially with that. So
yeah.
Well, it seems to be like a new move the Japanese anime company may be doing now.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Much as I love the English companies, if the Japanese company could just release them themselves, have decent menus, decent stuff on them, release them over here. And frankly, there's a lot of stuff that I'd like dubbed. There's a lot of stuff like, okay, I don't care. Find someone to sub it, release it over here at a decent price, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I don't need the full-scale Funimation treatment for a lot of these shows.
Yeah. That's what Sentai Works is doing. That's what they're doing with the releases of the Gintama anime. They just sub it, send it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only downside to that is it's probably kind of hard for a Japanese company to tell whether or not they're releasing a good dub.
True.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Don't dub it.
Yeah, they sub it. That's what I said.
The weird thing is that it would be good if it was something that hadn't been dubbed before. Like that would draw Americans to actually buy it.
Yeah.
But Kenshin has been dubbed and
Twice.
has been out in America for like a decade.
Yeah.
And so the only reason would be that whole like it's never been released on Blu-ray sort of thing. That would be the draw. And as for licensing, it's actually the Japanese companies. I don't know. To me, it seems better in their interest to license, to have someone else dub it, because that way they get all the money. They get the money up front for the license, and they're like, all right, you guys take care of it. You guys do what you want to do, make your money for X amount of years.
Yeah.
And so, so I know that, and this is a little bit of inside, because I used to work at Bang Zoom, and they told me that Genion, and I guess I could talk about it because Genion's gone. So,
yeah, pretty much.
But Genion, they for a long time they were the Tokyo Pop of the anime industry.
They were the number one, yeah.
Right, and so they were licensing like everything, but I heard that the only thing that that made them money was Samurai Champloo for that year. Everything else they lost money on.
Wow.
And there was one title, and this just blew my mind. The title was Heat Guy J, and the reason why they
what?
Heat Guy J?
It didn't gain them money. Let me finish.
Okay, yeah.
Heat Guy J, the artist who did Heat Guy J was the guy who did Escaflowne.
Okay, yep.
And Escaflowne was hugely popular in Japan and in America.
Yep.
So Genion, the Japanese company, licensed Heat Guy J to Genion for $1 million.
Woo-hoo!
And so Genion paid $1 million for the license to dub, subtitle, and distribute Heat Guy J. And obviously, that was one of the reasons why Genion went down.
That totally makes sense. In an absolutely insane way, Genion. What the heck were you thinking?
So
I'm sorry, just to take a moment. Who looked at Heat Guy J and said, this is worth $1 million? And I have nothing against Heat Guy J. It has fans. But that's not your Escaflowne. I'm sorry.
No. And the thing is that was just one example. That was a blown-out example of what licensing was like. I got like a crash course in licensing that day, and it was like this was just one example of. I don't think they paid $1 million for any of their titles, but it was pretty much up there.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the only thing that made the money was Samurai Champloo, and Samurai Champloo was awesome. And it had the backing of the fact that it was the company that did Cowboy Bebop. So
Well, and I think one of the interesting points there too is back then, turn of the millennium basically.
Right.
Anime was hot. So, paying a lot of money for it made a lot of sense, when you're not making money on any of them, it makes less sense. But that's an interesting point that you know, it was easy to, and I know the folks at Funimation have talked about that you know, a lot of folks overpaid on a lot of anime, and there's no way of knowing how what's going to sell, what's not going to. Now the other interesting question is, you know, I wonder if that kind of burned the anime companies of saying that it would seem to me, like you were saying, if I'm a Japanese anime company and I have the choice between distributing it myself and putting all the risk on myself, or getting, you know, $100,000 cash done.
True.
It seems to me I'd want to license it out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just, you know, $10,000, whatever, it's guaranteed money. So
yeah, it's guaranteed money.
So that's the other question: is there something contractually which makes it not guaranteed money? You know, is there something? There's got to be something in there that's pushing them to license these originally, rather than just taking the money and running. Unless they got kind of greedy with the anime boom and said, yes, you know, there's potential to make lots of money, and so we'd rather put on the risk at the opportunity of making much more than the licensing fee. But today, I can't believe that.
It could be a different type of marketing ploy. Like what they're doing instead is they're getting the dub and the sub finished, right? And then they're planning to license it out with the bonus of saying, you don't have to sub or dub it. We got that done. You just take it. It's yours.
Interesting.
You just do the distributing in America and give us the money.
Yeah. That's very interesting. That would make a lot of sense from the licensing company to say, here, you do the easy stuff, so to speak. And also the other interesting point, you do the stuff that it's much harder for a Japanese company to do.
Yeah.
You know, going to the American conventions, you know, marketing it in a way that makes sense to Americans, a lot harder compared to finding, you know, Americans in Japan who can do whatever.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
And the other thing is that it's partially the reason for the crash, the anime crash, is because now, because of the 2000s or whatever, and the boom, now anime companies are expecting that money coming in. Yeah. So now you have a flooded market with all this stuff that anime fans are like, what the hell? What do I buy? And it's before it was most of the good stuff's coming out, and that's all I watched. And now there's Hyper Doll.
I was gonna say, remember all the stuff from 2000
that just don't make any are just garbage, and so they were relying on that money, and now the American companies aren't making money, so they're licensing less, and then the Japanese companies were counting on that licensing money, so now they're crashing and burning. So at this point in time, I don't know, maybe I don't know for sure, maybe you're correct, where it's the whole, okay, we won't pay, but we'll do all this work for you, and you can get a cut of the deal. Or it could be the fact that they lowered the licensing fees, and the anime companies in America are like, we don't know anything else. This is the only thing we know how to do, is to get anime, dub it, and then distribute it. Yeah. So we'll still pay. Yeah. We won't pay $1 million for Heat Guy J too, but I mean, thankfully, we'll still pay the licensing fees, and we can try to fix the machine that's broken.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think Haruhi was the big wake up call to a lot of folks, where they realized, we can't even rely on on a really popular series. What is there to rely on anymore? We're now in this weird thing where the more popular you are, the less likely you are that folks will buy it because they've already got all the torrents sitting on their hard drive.
And that's another thing, is that in the past 10 years, it's torrents and streaming have become, for the otaku, have been commonplace. Yeah. Versus in 2000, it took 2 days of you leaving your computer on, torrenting this thing through dial-up.
That's how I watched Furikuri. I downloaded the fan sub of that when it came out in Japan, and it took days to download each episode. And
so
you
now you
know,
that was on Adult Swim.
tiny. Yeah,
so
I absolutely.
You have easy access to the anime. Like, you have instant access. You could just go on your computer, just like press play, watch, done.
Oh.
Versus back, it was like, okay, maybe I have to buy this anime.
Absolutely.
Now it's like, I've already seen it.
I mean, back.
I like it.
I remember back in the late '90s, I stumbled across one of the first companies that broadcast that actually broadcast movies online, and they had The Wings of Honey Mise. And it was like the only anime they had, and had a few other things. I watched it. The video was, I believe, 90 pixels wide. Yeah, subtitled. Hey. And it was unwatchable, and that was the thing you had back then. Is the best you had was this incredibly low quality stuff. I mean, the availability of Flash video has just completely changed everything. Yeah. Where all the pirates can now just put everything up using a free copy of JW Player and throw it up there, and you've got all of your stuff streaming. DreamHost gives you basically unlimited space. Right. And you just sort of sit there and you stream all of your stuff, and you put up some ads, and so hopefully you cover your costs. And and Funimation is looking at that saying, excuse me, we can't make money now, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, really, really weird.
Yeah.
What I don't understand though is that it's like, why wouldn't these companies kind of try to change? I mean, I know it's hard to change, but it's like, why wouldn't you try to get like the licensing for like merchandise, like T-shirts?
Well, yeah.
I mean, because all the fans who are torrenting and streaming all these animes, they're not gonna buy the anime, but they're gonna buy a T-shirt. They're gonna be like, this is my favorite anime. Or this is, like, I like this anime. I would buy that T-shirt.
Yeah.
And so now you just have a different kind of market, just a different kind of product that you would need to. And I would always think that when I was at Bang Sims, like, why wouldn't you get the license for T-shirts, toys, books?
Because most of these companies, I think, don't know how to produce plushies. They do DVDs. That's a whole different business.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think that is, and I think you're absolutely right. I think that is the issue now. We were talking about this last week. There was a stat that came out that 98% of revenue in North America for anime is character goods. And actually, I found out that also includes Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which is 80% of that total. But absolutely, I think you're right. That is go to an anime con. Walk into the dealer's room, count the number of folks selling, DVDs versus the number of folks selling character goods.
Yeah. Bingo.
I hate to derail us, but for the past 30 minutes, we've slipped into Otaku.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Touché, Brad. Touché.
Good point. So so that's the news of the week. I think we covered all the major topics. Anything I missed?
Everything I wanted to talk about has been hit.
Let me check.
Yeah, I think that just about does it. Like I said, there's other little things, but those were the particularly remarkable stuff. Question of the week. Thank you, X. We will definitely do that.
Once don't have to say it.
Yeah. I don't think I got anything for question of the week this week, actually.
Huh.
I'm trying to remember. Looking for...
It was the side character question?
Yeah. I think it was.
Pretty sure it was.
Let me see here. Favorite side character in anime. Or was that last week's?
That was...
It was last week's, because I remember...
Yeah.
No. It was like, what main character would you have preferred as a side character?
Yes, right. Name a character you wish had less time in an anime. Let's see here. Yeah, I did not get any responses from that one this week. No one could quite think that one up. Fair enough. So do you guys have any choices? What's a character that you wish was not a main character in an anime?
Shinji Ikari.
Yeah.
I swear, Mark is just like me in some cases.
And I will also say...
Maybe it's the thing is that, to me, he didn't grow as a character.
Thank you.
Reverted.
Thank you. And I will say, again, to be fair, Evangelion 2.0 fixes that.
Okay, all right.
to my shock and amazement, he grows balls. Anyway,
right.
But yes.
I want to make one last
yeah.
on Evangelion. Okay. So by now you've probably figured out that I don't just not like, I actually hate Evangelion. But I have all my defenses and like questions and stuff ready to talk. So the reason why I hate Evangelion is because, one, if you watch the first 26 episode arc, I'm sorry, that ending sucks. Those last two episodes are horrible.
I have strong opinions on that, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, my whole thing is that, okay, it was the director's choice. Now, I've heard all the rumors where it's like the director, you know, he left before the series was finished or whatnot, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that he did the series. He's an artist. He made choices. These are the choices that he made, and the fans are like, yeah, it's like, I like that ending because, you know, blah, 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 blah. Now, after that, he made 2 movies.
Yes.
Which basically retcons the entire ending of Evangelion. Yep.
All right. Now, we're getting into different topic here. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
Can I ask just one more question? Because I think the whole question was, what main character really have a side character? What side character in that same anime would you have a main character? I think that was the question.
I know it was just main character, side character.
Okay. Because I would have said Captain Katsuragi for,
Yeah. Fair enough. Brad, how about you? Did you have one?
I said Asuka.
Let's see. I can't think of any from any of the shows I really liked or disliked. I guess I could say, once again, going to the major shonen shows, any of those main characters. Because they don't really change; they just power up.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I will agree.
No. Simon from Grand Dagon changes.
Okay, fair enough.
Goku doesn't. He just gets bigger.
Yeah. Although I will say,
hundreds of episodes.
I have no problem with Goku. I think he was a very workhorse main character for that anime. You know, they didn't overuse him. He wasn't, the star constantly, and I think he worked. I have to say.
He kind of already had the perfect personality from chapter 1. Is the thing.
Yeah.
He isn't like most characters nowadays that they have a problem. Goku is just like built perfectly automatically.
Yeah.
He's like
happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, he was born in that age of anime where you just have to have one awesome main character with no real faults. Shiro from Misfits and the North Star.
Yeah.
Perfect example of that.
Exactly.
He's part of that era of anime where you just had like one perfect main character fighting against this really evil bad dude who had everything wrong with him.
Suzanne, did you have a character you'd like to sidetrack?
Oh goodness, the number of them I could sidetrack. Should I go back into Macross this week?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, Vic Mignogna, but Hikaru's gotta go. Like, I know that he was the love interest for Minmay. I understand. But, like, again, I don't like his final choices in the end. And also, I would have rather focused on Max's stories. Especially since he's overall better than Hikaru and has his life more together than Hikaru.
It's all about the Roy Foka. even though he dies early on. It's like, end of series. That's
Spoiler! Spoiler alert! Spoiler!
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah,
my choice would have to... No, go ahead.
What was that? Okay. I think you would have to combine Macross Plus and original Macross together to make that work, though.
Yeah.
Because he had like 2 love lives, kind of.
Yeah. My choice would actually be Ranma Saotome from Ranma 1/2. That's one character. I understand where she was going with the character. I understand why they did it that way. But Ranma's one of these characters that is thrown into a romantic comedy situation and unfortunately is not an interesting romantic comedy protagonist. He'd be great in a shonen. He'd be great in lots of other contexts, but You know, when I see a romantic comedy in which the two main characters basically can't stand each other for the entire thing, it just doesn't do much for me. And granted, I mean, one of the neat things about Ranma 1/2 is that there's this core to them that they will defend each other. You know, they do have something at the bottom, but it is so buried so far down that they're arguing so much. You know, I can deal with Akane because she's basically being forced into this marriage she knew nothing about. And so that rage makes sense to me. But Ranma, I have to marry a cute girl? How dare you? You know, there's just, I don't know. There's just something about it that
Maybe he didn't go through puberty right. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, well, he didn't. But there's just, it was one of those characters that for me, I just found too annoying for his spot. So that would have to be mine.
Anyone you prefer to have the focus on, though?
In Ranma specifically, the guy who transforms into a duck, I liked a lot. Who's sort of the nerd, and he's very much the side character, and he's very unlucky, and I thought he was fun. In general, though, a character I like to
got the least amount of character development in that story.
That's true. In general, though, I would have to agree with you actually about, in a lot of ways, about Max from Macross. I'd like to see more of him.
Yeah, again, that's why I liked Macross 7 so much. I don't think it was boss fight. I think it was just how Max was the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
And pretty much half the series with him, like, and his wife, they were, like, madly in love in SDF, and now they're, like, divorced but not legally divorced.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Like,
I would add something else, but it'd be another spoiler. Spoiler alert. Screw it. At the end of the series, they both get in their like VF1s again.
Oh,
and
nice.
Fly around and help them battle.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Unless you count the other sort of ending, which is basically a pushback to SDF, which was after the big ending, where Phosphorus sings and all the females then try are just like, no please.
Much like Macross Frontier.
I love that episode.
That is a fantastic episode of Frontier. That just little hearts in the Zentradi eyes.
Oh yeah,
so
the song on the episode was great too. I have that song on my YouTube's playlist. Just
Tune.
Now,
Yeah.
In general for
yes, Brad.
In general for bringing characters more towards the spotlight, I would have liked this to have seen more of the side characters from Horomusuko.
Oh yeah. Good choice.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, well, and that's a tough one because there are so many characters and you bounce around so much.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had a tough time figuring out who were the characters in Horomusuko. It becomes defined over time, but there are so many characters and they are so fleshed out that there's a lot there.
That's actually something I want to talk about. Who's the voice actor for that kid? Because can that kid voice act, or is he even a kid? Because basically the whole time it's just like, oh no, someone found out.
See, I like that.
Really? Because like, the thing is, he's in another anime now. He's in the adult anime for seniors now. He's also a kid, and he's also like, for example, they see this stalker character that's following him. It's like, stalker, run away.
Okay.
Like I don't know, whatever.
Well, a lot of voice actors have their shtick, and his would be like the shy kind of quiet voiced.
Well, the character that he plays isn't very shy though, and at least in the new anime he's in. He just seems like a regular, boy that has no problems in life, and like,
Don't know.
Yeah, you didn't see it, so whatever.
Get tired. All right, so the question for next week is something a little less opinionated, shall we say, more statistical. How many fan subs do you watch versus like DVDs and legitimate releases, like percentage-wise?
I like to play the fifth.
Yeah, so that's the question: is what's your ratio of fan subs to legitimate releases? That'll be the question for next week. So
I actually wanted to add one last thing to our question was, I don't know if everyone else feels this way, but to me, the main character for the most part, I'd say in 95% of all my anime, are usually the most not interesting character. I usually find that I like the characters around them. Like, whenever you would say, like, let's name an anime. Name your favorite character in that
One
anime.
Piece.
Right. For me, it's Usopp.
Yeah,
because,
I definitely agree with that.
It's never the main character for me. I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but for me, it's the main character is always just kind of the guy who you follow, and then everyone around them is kind of more interesting.
I disagree. Gundam, you know, for me, you know, the most interesting character in that is Amuro. You know, you know, Char is more awesome. But that's just because he's designed that way. You know, he's more awesome. Right. But you know, he's a more interesting character.
Well, everyone's up to their opinions, but I have to say that I think Kai is more interesting than Amuro.
I disagree there because there's not too much. We don't spend too much time with Kai. You know, he goes from evil to good, basically. And
the thing is, with Gundam, with Gundam, it's more of a saga. So, like, for me, Amuro's, like, for the first series, he's interesting, but throughout the entire, like, saga, Char becomes this character that, you know, even in Zeta, he's my favorite character.
That's interesting. Now, I had the exact opposite reaction. That's interesting.
Really? Okay.
I found Char to be, just to go off topic for a little bit, I found Char to be fundamentally inconsistent, and I just couldn't follow. I couldn't understand why, A, he couldn't pilot worth a fig all of a sudden. And you know, the one guy who, like, was the most driven person in original Gundam suddenly had no idea what to do with his life. And granted, I mean, he'd sort of completed what he wanted to do. But suddenly this guy who was just all together kind of fell apart in Zeta. And so I couldn't get a grip on Char, I'll put it that way. That was my main problem with him. I was like, what are they doing with this character at this point?
Because to me, in Zeta, he's the one character that kind of was, he had his sights, and he stayed true, because Amuro kept going like, I'm on the Federation side. Oh, now the Federation side has the Titans. I'm out. I'm going to go join Char now. Now I'm going to go over here. Now I'm going to go over there. While Char was always like, I fucking hate the Federation. I'm sorry for swearing. I hate the Federation. I will always, like, try to drop colonies on them. They're no good. Yeah. And so he kind of kept that throughout his counterattack.
See, I guess that's kind of my problem with him, is that I found him interesting for that exact reason. You know, Amuro has enough complexity of thought to say, well, I'm going to go with whoever is, you know, morally just, not just, you know, Federation is evil all the time, for all time. I don't care what you say. I always hate the Federation. You know, that was my view on it, is that Amuro had, you know, just could kind of say, well, these guys have turned evil, so I'm going to go away from them. Just my view.
We keep on talking about this, but we should probably end the...
we should probably end this. We will continue this. We'll continue talking about this once the show's over, because it's going to go on for hours and hours on YouTube, and folks will complain again. Because no YouTube video...
I want to talk some more, though, because this is
yes,
awesome.
Absolutely. No YouTube video may be more than 15 minutes, otherwise you're dumb. I have discovered this. My gosh. Anyway, so yes. So this is a question for next week, as a reminder for folks, is what is your ratio of fan subs to DVDs? You know, 90% fan subs or whatever. And yes, you can count. You know, you watch the fan sub and watch the legitimate release. That's cool. You know, that counts as well. So yeah, be curious to see just what that is. And again, just so folks know, I watch a lot of fan subs. I think we all watch a lot of fan subs. There's no you know, no problem if you say you watch a lot of fan subs. We totally understand. Actually, a lot of anime that I've watched fan subs, bought the DVDs, never watched them. Anyway, so that's the question for next week. So I think for that, it leaves me to...
Does that also include, like, official streaming sites like Crunchyroll and Funimation?
I would say an official streaming site counts as, like, watching the official, like, DVD or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How much illegal stuff do you watch, and how much legal stuff? That'd be a better way of putting it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, you're absolutely right. That's a good way of putting it. All right, so it leaves me to thank my guest hosts for guest hosts. Yes, that's what I said. For joining me this week. Brad, thanks for joining me as always. Good to have you on.
Great to be here.
Psychotaku, thanks for being on here. This was awesome.
Yeah, it was totally awesome. Thank you so much. And, I hope you guys have me on again.
Great, would love to. And thanks, Zan, as well. Good having you.
Throughout the whole 30-minute conversation that we had, I felt that Brad was like the business pro, Mark was like the insider guy, and then Brent was like the otaku veteran. I'm just like the guy just like listening, like, okay. I'm like the straight man of the shonen group. Like, everyone has their whole thing, so I'm just like the oh, he's super still. Oh, he played the ultra mega skill. Oh. But yeah, great to be on here, guys, and I just enjoyed this whole freaking show. It was great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. This has been great, and we will see you all next week. Take care.
See you again this year.